This is the topic for our discussion, a special immigrant visa for Afghan nationals. In short, it is SIVA. In short, so what are the eligibility? Like who are qualified under this SIVA program? So Afghan nationals are eligible for the SIV program when they, number one, were previously employed directly by the U.S. government in Afghanistan or employed with company that had a contract or subcontract with the US government in Afghanistan. Meaning, you must be an employee of American government either directly or indirectly through a private company with contract or subcontract. And this American government work includes both civilian work and military work. So either you are employed by US Army or American civil government, both categories are covered under SIV program. Also, you worked for the qualifying employer for at least 1 year. So this is a very significant development since last time, because previously it was 2 years. Now it's only 1 year between October 7, 2001 and December 31st, 2023. So this is a very good, it's a long period. So it's still, if you're still employed by American government, you will still qualify for SIB program. Now it's, excuse me, October. So until December 31st, 2023. Also, if you face threats to safety because of their employment with US government, or is the surviving spouse or child of a former US government employee who had submitted an application for chief of missions approval. So not only government employees but also their family members qualify for SIV program. All right, so how to apply for SIV? What are the steps? Number one, first you have to submit an application for Chief of Missions approval by emailing the following documents to, here is the email address. So, it's like a Afghan SIVA application at state.gov. So what documents you have to submit with initial application to Chief of Mission? Number one, you have to complete form DS 157. So this 157 is a form that will kind of establish all the eligibility requirements. So you have to give your employment history, your biographic history, your connection with American government, kind of thing. So it's just a detailed form. Try your best to complete the DS 157 form as detailed as possible. Try to answer all the questions properly. Also, a copy of passport or Tazkera. Tazkera is like an Afghan national ID card kind of thing. So either if you have a passport or a Tazkera, that works. Biographic data, a copy of employee badge, if available. In a lot of like position, especially in military position, you get a badge. If you have any kind of badge or any kind of ID card issued by American government or contractors or subcontractors, please attach a copy of that badge. Letter from employers human resource department, get a letter from your HR department, letter of recommendation or evaluation from your direct supervisor or somebody who is in charge right now, kind of thing. That will work. If you do not have communication with your direct supervisor, sometime supervisor changes, so contact the right person currently. Also, a statement of threats received due to employment with the US government. So a lot of people who in Afghanistan who work for American government get like threats from local community and other organizations, terrorist organizations. So if you receive any kind of threat or any kind of situation that is that is harmful for you or your family, you can write a statement of that threat, and in most cases try to notarize it before submitting it with the application. In case if you cannot notarize, that's okay. Try your best to submit as detailed as possible with the application form DS 157. All right. So after you submit the 157 form to the Chief of Missions office, then you have to file I-360 petition with USCIS. Send the email to, there's another email address. I'm not going to read it, just it is here in this slide. After attaching all supporting document and the form into one email. So, in one email, attach all the forms and all the supporting documents and try to make it like a one single PDF. That kind of help you, help the employee of the USCIS who is processing your case to download as one file. They can easily print it. Everything would be in one order. So it's always good to combine everything and submit as one single PDF. With that application I-360, complete also DS-260 visa application form. And then after you submit everything, they will call you for interview and complete the security check. So they will call you for interview, and then they will complete the security checks, and then after everything, they will issue your visa, and then you can travel to America. In many cases, SIV applicants has been evacuated to third countries prior to issuance of the visa. So a lot of time, if they can directly bring you to America, they will. If they cannot directly bring you to America, sometimes they may take you to some third countries. And in the third countries, you will be under American supervision, and your application will be processed, and later you will be brought to America. Timeline. All right, so there is no fixed timeline, because sometimes these applications are very complex. It takes a lot of time to check background and other kind of things. But one thing is for sure, that American government is prioritizing Afghan nationals because they did tremendous job helping American government. So even though there is no fixed timeline, but they're trying their best to expedite the process. So short answer, no timeline. Supporting documents. So the question is, what supporting document you may need to apply when you apply for SIV program. Number one, you have to support proof of employment, any and all kind of employment proof. That can be contract, the contract you had with the American government, any kind of letter, any kind of picture. Even a lot of time, you may have picture with your American counterpart, any kind of video document, any kind of certificate, any kind of evaluation report, or any kind of proof of employment that is going to help you. Identification document, if you have passport or other kind of identification that will establish that you are Afghan national, because SIV program is specifically designed for the Afghan people. So let's say you are employed in Afghanistan, you are helping American government, but you are not an Afghan national. In that case, you will not qualify under this program. I get this email all the time. A lot of people, they say, hey, I'm from Bangladesh, or I'm from Pakistan, or I'm from India. I worked in Afghanistan helping American government, either in US military or US civil government. Am I eligible for SIV program? The answer is no. You are not qualified for SIV program. You have to be a Afghan national to be qualified under SIV program. So your identification documents are really, really important. Biographical information, try your best to submit and all details as much as you can. Your birth certificate, any school you attended, any job you did, like any education you had. Try your best to give all the information. The more information you provide to the USCIS is good for your application. So I advise always to submit more information rather than less information. And then family relationship documents. If you are married, if you have a spouse, if you have children, try to put their name and any kind of document like your children's birth certificate, marriage certificate with your spouse. Try to provide all information related to your family. Medical examination record by approved doctors. So in some cases, for American immigration, you need to establish that you do not have some disease that are threat for American public health. Like if you have contagious kind of disease that easily spreadable among the community, then there's a public safety rule that will barrier you to come to America. So you must have a medical examination by a approved doctor. Not all doctors are eligible for medical examination. It must be approved doctor. Also, proof of threat of persecution. So one of the major requirement, one of the basic requirements is that because of your service to American government, you are getting threat from your community, so you have to have some kind of proof. Just one thing I must say here, if you do not have any kind of proof, sometime let's say somebody called you or somebody met you in the street and gave you threat, you do not have any evidence, which is okay. Just write a statement as affidavit, sign it in front of a notary, and submit with your application. If there is no other evidence, your statement will be accepted as evidence. Also, any other kind of document that will make you eligible for SIV program, you can also submit everything. That's like a kind of other category, which is kind of like a catch-all kind of categories. So there are some bars for getting SIV approval. Number one, security concern. If in your background check, if they find that you will be threat for American safety or security, then they may not give you SIV approval. Criminal history. If you have criminal history, if it's like a minor, petty crime kind of history, they may ignore it. But if it's like a major crime, like murder, rape, or like a major kind of crime, then they may not approve your SIV application. Fraud or misrepresentation. This is probably the most common in many cases, not only from Afghanistan, from all over the world, for some reason, people provide wrong information, false and misleading information to American government. If they can find that you provided, false or misleading information, you did fraud or misrepresentation, they are not going to approve your SIV application. So I strongly advise you not to provide any false or misleading information. Also, health related grounds, as I said, if there are certain kind of disease that is easily spreadable among the community, they may not approve it, but this is very less common nowadays. There is remedy for pretty much all kind of disease. Okay, by the way, a lot of people email me, is COVID under this disease? The answer is no. Even though COVID is like a infectious disease, even if you're COVID positive or you had been COVID positive, you can easily get SIV approved and come to America. There's no problem with COVID after denial. So, when you apply for SIV, if you get it approved, that's great. You're coming to America, and within a very short time, you'll get green card, and eventually you become citizen. What if your application got denial? Then what do you do? There are two major options. Number one, reconsideration or appeal. In many cases, once your application get denied, you can apply for reconsideration or reopen. In some cases, reopen, and then you can also apply for appeal. So it depends on the situation. It depends on the grounds of denial. As soon as you get denial letter, I advise you to contact immigration attorney and say, "Hey, I applied for SIB program. I got denied. What should I do?" They will advise you whether you're qualified for reconsideration or appeal, or what should be the procedure. They will advise you. In some cases, I tell my clients that instead of reconsideration or appeal, why not you reapply? Because in your previous application, you did not provide enough information, enough documents. Now you have some new information, new document. How about you provide all this information and submit a reapplication with a note that you previously applied and your application got denied? Sometimes this reapplication works. Sometimes reconsideration, reopen or appeal works, depending on the situation. So it basically depends on your denial letter. Whatever reason they're showing in your denial letter, that will help you help us to understand what is the appropriate action based on that. If there is no reason mentioned in your application, there is a one application called FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Under FOIA, you can apply to know the copy, get the copy of your background check that American government did for you. In the FOIA application, you will see if they have if the American government have any kind of wrong information, false information, anything about you, or if your background check come up with some kind of red flag or yellow flag. So based on your FOIA application, we can also determine whether you will be qualified for reapplication, reconsideration, or appeal kind of situation. So bottom line, it depends on the reason for denial. All right, benefits. So SIV recipients get a lot of benefits. SIV recipients are eligible for the same resettlement assistance and other benefit as refugees admitted under US RAP program. So basically, as soon as your SIV application get approved, you will get the status of a refugee. And refugees get like a lot of benefits from American government, including getting a green card. So once your SIV application is approved, you may apply for a lot of American public benefits, which is available for refugees. All right, as I said, once your SIV application got approved, you will be qualified for a green card application. Once you apply the green card, your green card application will be approved. And then usually after 5 years, you'll be eligible to apply for citizenship, and then you become an American citizen. So SIV is one of the very special kind of visa application for Afghan nationals to get American green card and citizenship with a very short time. Because you help American government in their need, they are going to pay back you for your service.